What? Oh.
So, I've just realised...
Good evening from me and good evening from him. Good evening from Nellie.
A very disjointed introduction, but we're very pleased to be able to welcome you two here to join us all online with our online concert, which we may be continuing with those for some time. So I will hand over to you guys. Go and do your thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. It's good to see so many people I recognise there. I haven't seen, well, you don't see many faces at all these days, do you?
No.
And no, they were waiting for a chorus band. Look, I think it's fantastic. Everyone did so many COVID songs, and just so you know, I won't be doing any COVID songs tonight. But I'll tell you what is interesting is that they had the Spanish flu 100 years ago, and there are a lot of folk songs about a lot of things. But I don't know if I've ever heard a folk song about the Spanish flu. But anyway, we can chew over that one. Meanwhile, I'm going to take the headphones off and we'll sing, and I won't hear you during that. But that's probably what would happen anyway. And I thought, well, there won't be any applause either, so I looked everywhere today and I found looking for an applause track. I didn't find one. I found a laughter track, but I thought, I don't think that'll work just as well.
I do know that the Auslan sign for applause is like this, like spirit fingers. It's what my grade 5 teacher used to call it. So if you want to do that, we can see that pretty clearly on the cameras. Thank you. And thanks everyone for coming here. They were awesome acts for the last hour. That was so cool to listen to. It's been a while since I've been able to socialise with this many people, as I'm sure it is for everyone else. What would you like to
So I'm going to start with, I don't know if you got stereo. I only got mono when I was listening before, but that could be a problem with ours because we're going in each, where it's complete separate. Because of COVID, we've got complete separation in our for stereo.
Yeah, so if you are having trouble hearing a balance, go into your settings and see if you can swap it to mono. Otherwise,
Whatever.
it's all good.
Anyway, we're coming across stereo if you've got stereo. And I'm going to start with a song. I've been reflecting on the whole history of everything, and I thought, how did we all end up invading Australia? And I thought we can, everyone likes to blame the Americans. Blame the Americans for the War of Independence because they stopped sending convicts to America and started sending them here. But before that was the Industrial Revolution. I'm going to sing a song that was written at 200, 400, a lot of hundreds of years. To the Decade by Colin Dryden. And you can sing along at home. Can you hear me all right? You wake up in the morning, the sky's as black as night. My mother's calling up the stairs, I know she's won the fight. I stumble to the table for a moment at my plate. Then it's out the door and down the road and to the factory gate. Cold and grey in the morning light, as through the gate I squeeze. As I clock in, the bell will ring and I'll roll back my sleeves. One eye on the clock and the other on the lathe, and it's right, lads, is the cry. An 8-hour day is a turner's way, and I wish that time would fly. But time can't fly like a spinning wheel, and so it's work I must. The grinding, groaning, turning steel, the hot air and the dust. And many's the time I'm with my lass, a-walking in the park, while gazing at the grinding steel and the blinding welder's spark. Turning steel, how do you feel, as in the chuck you spin? If you felt like me, you'd roll right out and never roll back in. Old Tom left the other day, his final bell had rung. His skin all pale, his head turned grey, his face all oiled and sunk. He made a speech and he said farewell to a lifetime working here. I shook his hands and I thought of hell at a lathe for 40 years. Turning steel, how do you feel, as in the chuck you spin? If you felt like me, you'd roll right out and never roll back in. When my time comes, as come it will, and I must leave this place, I'll walk on by the charge hand's door, and I'll never turn my face out through the door into the light, and I'll leave it all behind. But for one regret, the lads I've left to carry on the grind. Turning steel, how do you feel, as in the chuck you spin? If you felt like me, you'd roll right out and never roll back in. One more time. Turning steel, how do you feel, as in the chuck you spin? If you felt like me, you'd roll right out and never roll back in. Thank you, and I can hear Dryden at the end of the shift going, "Hey up, lads!" Which is something he used to yell out every now and then in the old days. Now I'll put the headphones on just in case people have some instructions for me. Is everybody hearing everything okay? No problems. Okay, continue on. You'll hear the guitar a little better now anyway, because this one is plugged in as well. You'll hear it through both channels. Anyway, with a little bit of exploration, they found Australia and sent their convicts here. I'm going to sing a song about one of the explorers and also one of the governors of Tasmania. Lord Franklin. Nellie's going to start it for me. 1847 or 8 this was written.
Homeward bound one night on the deep, slung in my hammock I fell asleep.
to the frozen ocean in the month of May, to find a passage around the pole, where we poor sailors must on time go.
Through cruel hardships they made their sail, on mountains of ice and snow the ship was frail. The Eskimo in his skin canoe was the only one that ever came through.
In Baffin's Bay where the whalefish do blow, the fate of Franklin no man may know. The fate of Franklin no tongue can tell, if with his sailors Franklin do dwell.
Though my burden do give me pain, to find my Franklin I would cross the main. 10,000 pounds would I freely give to find on earth my Franklin do. Windward bound one night on the deep, slung in my hammock I fell asleep. I dreamed a dream and thought it true, concerning Franklin and his gallant crew. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. And we do so then you've got the convicts themselves. Yep.
Of course, they did find Franklin in the end.
It was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, they found
close.
the ships in, I think, 2018.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, it took them 150 years.
Yeah. Well.
One Sunday morning, as I was walking by Brisbane waters, I chanced to stray. I heard a prisoner his fate bewailing as on the sunny riverbank he lay. I am a native of Erin's Island, now banished from my native shore. They tore me from my aged parents and from the maiden that I adore. For 3 long years I was beastly treated, and heavy irons on my legs I wore. My back with flogging is lacerated and oft times painted with my crimson gold. And there's many a man from downright starvation lies mouldering underneath the clay. For Captain Logan, he had us mangled at the triangles of Moreton Bay. Like the Egyptians and ancient Hebrews, we were oppressed under Logan's yoke, till a native lying there in ambush did give our tyrant his mortal stroke. My fellow prisoners, be exhilarated that all such monsters this death should find. And when from bondage we are liberated, our former sufferings shall fade from
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Sound still working okay?
Coming over well, Grant.
Thank you. Continue on. I think a whole heap of convicts have the Aboriginals up in the Brisbane area to thank for the demise of Captain Logan, who a lot of people say achieved a lot, but I think the bad press is far outweighs the good press. And now, this song is was written for those Aboriginals. The first two verses were sung by Shirley Fish to Hazel DeBarra in an interview for the National Library, and I got permission from the Timbreys, Esme Timbrey, to sing those two verses. The rest of the song I've written myself. Yamba Morungawa. Sorry, the words simply mean, and when I say simply, I say it very lightly, that they mean all my people have gone. I am the last of my people, and I am going too. Yamba Morungawa. Yamba. Oh, Yamba Morungawa. Yamba Morungawa. Alalaing ayo maninde. Alalaing ayo maninde. Alalaing ayo maninde. 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 There's a rumour going round of vision out to sea, of things left on the shore, never seen before, and stories from the east of half man and half beast, throwing magic from their hands, whose numbers have increased. News comes from the north of a godlike clan of men, and all who venture forth are never seen again. But all here seems well, just stories people tell. Perhaps it's just a dream, but dreams are never what they seem. We have met these gods at last. We've told them of our past. They are not gods but simple men who say they won't harm us again. But there's a rumour going round, any of us found upon colonial ground will be poisoned, shot or drowned. News comes from the west. We're trying to resist. There has been a mighty clash, and all our warriors burned to ash. But all here seems well, just stories people tell. Perhaps it's just a dream, but dreams are never what they seem. This land, all its dreams, was never meant to be bought and sold for anybody's greed. This land, all its dreams, was never meant to be bought and sold for anybody's greed. This land was free. There's a rumour going round, there's a van in our town collecting all our kids and any babies that are found, I'm taking them away. And nothing we can say can explain to them the cost of the dreamings we have lost. This land and all its dreams was never meant to be bought and sold for anybody's greed. This land was free. This land was free. This land was free. There's a rumor going around.
Woo! Woo!
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And which brings us to a hello, John.
I think it's just when we go quiet.
Is that okay? Is
Sound
our
picked
camera
up.
still working? Is our camera still? Oh, good. Okay.
Yes, all good.
It's just on speaker.
Yep, that's fine. Gold, you want to do that one, or do you want to do Banks of the Condamine?
It's entirely up to you.
I think we might do Farewell to the Gold because it's a bit brighter.
Okay.
The song was written by Paul Metzers in New Zealand, and now he wrote the song in about 1969, but it's about the New Zealand gold rush in about 1861, which was a good time deal after the Tarrangower one, but rush. But I really liked his song. I liked his tune, and I liked his final verse and his chorus, and I stole all of those things and added all the other verses myself about Tarrangower, as one does. Do I start it? With gold I was spellbound and struck out from Melbourne, bedroll with shovel and spot pan, and stories aplenty heard at each shanty, and a dream of that gleam in the sand.
While passing through Learmonth, I met with a stranger lying near death by the road. He'd sought here a fortune to take to his family, but he died with just love to send home. Farewell to the gold, never I found. Goodbye to the nugget that's somewhere abound. It's only when dreaming I've seen the gleaming in the dark, deep underground. And then upon Tarrangower, alluvial land, sour, so we dug 300 feet down, then 100 across, with the company in loss, no nugget nor seam ever found. Farewell to the gold, never I found. Goodbye to the nugget that's somewhere abound. It's only when dreaming I see the gleaming in the dark, deep underground. So farewell, Brian's Rangers, your gold it is waning. It's long since the color's been found, but there's no use complaining, cursing or blaming. I'll pack up and make for new ground. Farewell to the gold, never I found. Goodbye to the nugget that's somewhere abound. It's only when dreaming
somewhere around. It's only when dreaming I've seen the gleaming in the dark, deep underground. It's only when dreaming I've seen the gleaming in the dark, deep underground. In the dark, deep underground.
Thank you very much.
And then I promised Billy, I think it was, that I would do Rybuck Shearer, or Rybuck as I call it. He was a shearer. I believe I've always seen this song not so much around the campfire, let's get drunk type song, but that possibly happened to inspire the song. But I think that it's an old shearer he was so fast when he was young that by the time he became an old bloke, they still hired him because he had been so fast. He was a bit of a legend, and he was still shear fairly quickly anyway. But the young bucks probably didn't know any of that, and they just made fun of him, and particularly when he got drunk in the evenings. And anyway, and they wrote this, and the song's about that anyway. And he just told them that they were being disrespectful, and that he'd show them one day as he staggered off to his bedroll. But he probably knew that he couldn't anymore, and it's quite sad, really. Well, I come from the north, my name is Phil, and when me shears are properly still, there's 100 or more I very often peel. And of course I'm a Rybuck shearer. There's a bloke on the board been heard to say I couldn't shear 100 a day. When I find the time, I'll show the way. I became a Rybuck shearer. Shear a tally before I go, with shears and stones in the river I'll throw, and I'll never open sore beast to take another blow, till I prove I'm a Rybuck shearer. I won't say when. I'll climb up and into the pen while the ringers shearing 8, mate. I'll be shearing 10, and I'll prove I'm a right buck shearer. I'll shear a tally before I go, with shears and stones in the river I'll throw, and I'll never open sorbies to take another blow, till I prove I'm a right buck shearer. Shearer.
Thanks, Graham, for doing that. That was great. I haven't heard that for about 20 or 30 years, I think.
The applause is deafening, just like the same way that silence is sometimes. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I've been doing a bit of a timeline. You can't mention shearing in Australia without thinking of the shearers' strike. There was a young swagman down by the river. He lay in the shade of a coolabah tree. He laughed and he sang while he boiled his black belly. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me. Along came a jumper to drink at the billabong. Swaggy crept out, he grabbed him with speed. He laughed and he sang as he filled up his dilly bag. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me. And then came the squatter riding his stock horse, troopers behind him for flash company. And whose is the jumbuck I see in your dilly bag? You'll come a waltzing, you'll come with me. Down by the billabong, you come waltzing, 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 Matilda, with me. Then out stepped the swagman into the cool river. I'll never surrender, I'll die first, says he. He sang as he sank down into the deep billabong. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me, with me. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me. He sang as he sank down into the dark billabong. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me. Leading a water bag, you his gulls can be heard when you pass by the river singing. You'll come a waltzing, Matilda, with me. You come waltzing, 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 Matilda, with me.
Waltzing, 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 Matilda with
You
me.
come waltzing, 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 Matilda, with me.
Thank you.
And I had a phone call when I was in Queenscliff about 6 years ago from a solicitor who said that he'd done a coroner's thing on all the events up at the Dodsworth station, and he said that the coroner for the Swaggy was actually the station owner. And that's all I'll say. And so, part of this song was written by Graham Seal. I've humped me drum from kingdom come to the edge of the Milky Way, and I've camped out rough from the Cape to the Gulf, and starved on Christmas Day to make the way for the flying stakes, to dodge the lynching crowd. I wheeled my bike from the sheer strike, not wanting a funeral shroud. And I dropped a line in the Condamine while dossed in the pouring rain, and I laughed out loud with the merry crowd in the city of the plain. I've worked from dawn in fields of corn till the sun was all well out of sight, and I said farewell to my Sydney belle when we sailed to join the fight. I carried a gun through World War I, then went on the track again. From Omeo to Bendigo, to back and back again. And I shed a tear through the hungry years when jobs were short and few. I rolled up a swag and my old tucker bag. Oh well, there was nothing else to do. Thanks, Nelly.
I get to clap this time.
Yeah. You get to sing this time. This is the banks of the Condamine. Hark, the dogs are barking loud. It is nearly day. Lads are out there mustering. I must be on my way. I must be off by the morning, before the sun does shine, to meet the Sydney shearers on the banks of the Condamine.
Willie, dearest Willie, let me go with you. I'll cut off all my auburn hair and be a shearer too. I'll help you count your tally love while in a row you shine. I'll wash your greasy moleskins on the banks of the Condamine.
Oh, Nancy, me lovely Nancy, with me you cannot go. The squatter gave the order, no woman shall do so, and your delicate constitution is not equal to mine to withstand the constant tigering on the banks of the Condamine.
Willie, dearest Willie, stay home with me. We'll take up a selection. A farmer's wife I'll be. I'll help you husk the corn, my love, and cook you meals so fine you'll forget that ramstag mutton on the banks of the Condamine.
Oh, Nancy, lovely Nancy, do not hold me back. Out there the boys are mustering, I must be on the track. So here's a goodbye kiss. Oh, my well inclined, when we're sure the last of the jumbucks on the banks of the Condamine.
Willie, dearest Willie, I'll stay here alone through flood and drought and nagging doubt. You ever will come home. I'll tend the fields, bring in the yield, and raise the children fine. I'll tell them you've gone droving on the banks of the Condamine.
Hark, the dogs are barking on the Condamine.
Hark, the dogs are barking on the
Hark, the
Condamine.
dogs are barking on the Condamine. And I always thought when I was singing that song, thank you everybody. I just always thought I was used to sing that song that, you know, like he was saying, you know, that Nancy wouldn't be able to withstand the constant tigering, and I thought, and she's staying at home giving childbirth on her own,
Yeah, how was
looking
that?
after kids,
Let's
doing everything
check it
on the
out.
farm, and I just thought, hang on. So I wrote that extra verse. A lot of you might have trouble with people like me writing extra verses to stuff, or other verses to stuff, but anyway, sometimes I think it's justified. I think we're getting close to the line, and I'd like Nellie to sing Dorothy McKellar's song,
Dorothy Hewitt.
Weevils in the Flower. What?
I said Dorothy Hewitt.
Dorothy Hewitt then? Yes, quite right. It's the other Dorothy. We're not in Kansas anymore.
On an island in the river where I grew to be a man, we lived on dole and charity in the best way that you can. On an island in the river where I grew to be a man. And just across the river stood the mighty BHP for pollution on the water and pour the lead of misery. And its smoke was as black as Hades, rolling hungry to the sea. Dole bread is bitter bread and sour. There's grief in the taste of it. There's weevils in the flour. There's weevils in the flour. In those humpies by the river where we lived on dole and stew, while just across the water those greedy smokestacks grew, and the hunger of the many filled the bellies of the few. For dole bread is bitter bread and sour. There's grief in the taste of it. There's weevils in the flour. There's weevils in the flour. On an island in the river, how that bitter river ran. It broke the banks of charity, and it baked the bread of man. On an island in the river where I grew to be a man. The dole bread is bitter bread. There's weevils in the flour where men grow strong as iron on black bread and sour. Thank you very much.
And we'll finish with this one. It's Poison Train by, I'm going to hold up a little.
Yes.
No, we normally have a photo on the wall behind where Nellie's standing, but well, you have to hold it up to the camera, I think. Bring it over here. But it was,
Do you reckon I could pop in?
yeah, but he'd be so small. There it is, Michael O'Rourke.
I'll pop in though.
Anyway,
Oh no. I think it's gonna break every time. I can't.
I think it's
Playing a fire.
it's going to keep slipping now.
I'm gonna sit here with or stand here with envy because Dad has this smartwatch that is also a tuner, so he just has to sit there with it telling him what the right note is.
And it vibrates when it gets to the right one.
Yeah, well, it's too much for me.
It's going to slip that one. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, what can you tell us about this song, Dad?
Well, it's written about the Atherton tablelands where Michael O'Rourke grew up. And basically it's just that. I once interviewed him on radio actually in Albury because I was interested in where the song came from, and I said to Michael, you wrote this on the Atherton tablelands when you grew up, didn't you? And he goes, yes. And that was all I got out of him. It's my first good lesson in interviewing.
Yeah, I was like, this is not the right Michael.
Michael O'Rourke, he was good with words, but he also knew how to block.
It's a talent.
This old town has had its day. The people moved away. The houses all stand empty in the dry and dusty day. No one cares in this old town since the money's not around. The railway line is rusty and the stations is falling down. When the railroad opened here, the gutters flowed with beer. People stood beside the line to watch and wave and cheer. And the speeches that were made when the bosses smiled and said, the good times beginning follow us on. You'll go ahead, there's a light,
There's a light
down the line,
down the line.
let it shine, let it shine. There's a count, down the way,
down the way.
all the feckless will be coming home today. Well, they built the street so wide, it'd be a thing of pride to walk across it drunk or throw a stone to the other side. And the buildings grew so tall, you'd tremble at their fall, but they just dried up and you'd never know there was anyone. Hear it all, there's a light,
There's a light
down the line,
down the line.
let it shine, let it shine. There's the count, down the way,
Down the way.
all the feckless will be coming home today. There's There's a light down the line. Let it shine, let it shine. There's a camp down the way. All the feckless will be coming home today. Next time I want to see your lips moving.
Please sing along with us.
I can hear the tall man say to the children at their play, you'd better go home early and you'd better stay away from the line. Can't you hear the railway humming? The grass has grown too tall and the poison train is coming. You feel sorry for the grass, all it did was grow too fast. The weapons raised against it, well, it was never made to last. And the man and his offsider are all dressed in black as the poison train goes through the town and blisters all the track. Well, it never lasted long. Half the town was packed and gone, and everybody was afraid to be left there alone. And the people stayed away, and there was no celebration. Nobody made a speech the day they closed down the railway. There's a light down the line. Let it shine, let it shine. There's a camp down the way. All the feckless will be coming home today. There's a light, down the line. Let it shine, let it shine. There's a camp down the way. All the feckless will be coming home today. There's a light, down the line. Let it shine, let it shine. There's a camp down the way. All the feckless will be coming home today. Thank you very much.
I think that was.
Just pretend there's a banjo or something.
I think that was crazy to watch.
Probably shouldn't have said that. Anyway,
Yeah, no.
thanks
I
very
like
much.
banjo.
I'll put my headphones on.
You just say
Okay.
that.
Well, thank you very much,
Pops.
Graham, and
If you enjoyed that half as much as I did, then I enjoyed it twice as much as you.
Thank
I
you
think
very
you've done exceedingly well to keep up the
Thanks, Julie.
the tempo and the presentation.
Thank you.
Without the feedback from a live audience, I know it's very difficult. You've done a great job,
Thank you.
and I must say how impressed I am with the diction and the clarity. You could make out every word, which I always feel that the words are the most important part of a song. So thank you both for that.
So do I. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody. Thanks for attending. Thanks again. Thanks for